Morning guys, James here, and we have a interesting video today. Now normally my videos are out either in the desert or occasionally in a woodland area. This time we're going straight to downtown of my town. We're just going straight into the urban jungle, and the reason for that is because I'm making a Hobo-Stove with the can that I found. Now I've seen some really nice Hobo-Stoves made online on other YouTube videos, and these gentlemen take their time and they're really nice. I mean, these guys can sell them in a Sears catalog. But I'm gonna go ahead and just take that hobo mentality, and I'm just gonna have to just improvise. I'm not gonna give myself access to my garage where I have soldering tools and drills. I'm just gonna work with what I can use or what I can scavenge. So mainly it's gonna be, you know, something like a multi-tool, pliers, a can opener, and things that I can scavenge out here in the alleyways, or I can, you know, get from a shop, cheap stuff. So bear in mind that this is not going to be the most beautiful Hobo-Stove, but it will be functional. I can guarantee that. Now, you don't have to be homeless. You don't have to be, you know, the guy that lost the divorce settlement and now you're living under a bridge. You know, this can happen to anyone. You just got to learn to improvise. Say there's a severe snowstorm, you know, when it kills all power, you and your family, you're cold, you're hungry. This was in your garbage. You should take advantage of that. Just learn to think outside the box and improvise with the materials around you. So stick around, and we got a really exciting episode. So obviously the first requirement is a can. You're going to need the larger can the better. You could use a small can, but obviously a larger one where you'll be able to fit more fuel in here. So you can get these large cans at, you know, any store, you know, when you buy, you know, a large amount of vegetables or fruits, things along those lines. Or, you know, you can even go to a restaurant. Restaurants use these all the time, and I'm sure you can ask them and they'll give it to you, or just look through their garbage. Okay, next thing is a marker, and I already did this, but I'm just going to demonstrate again. I'm going to just draw a rectangle, a pretty large rectangle, and what this is going to be is, it's going to be our guidelines for when we cut this through. We're going to just remove all this, so that this is essentially our chimney. So this is where we're going to be placing our napkins, our wood, our fuel, so they can start burning. So first you need just a guideline, just so you have something to work with. And then the next thing is obviously a drawback of using a stove, a can, is, you know, when you have an open fire, air is everywhere, you know, out in the open desert. When using this can, you do need, you know, a way to kind of get some oxygen, help get some oxygen in there, because that's a requirement for fire. So I'm going to use this, so I can just punch holes around here. That'll do. That's fine. So I did it all around. Obviously not here because this is not needed since we're going to cut this out. Now the next tool is the can opener. We're going to remove this side. Obviously it was opened on this side because it's already obviously a used can. But we're going to remove this. Now a lot of guys, they don't remove this bottom part, obviously because the heat, you know, the tan will reflect heat and it warms things up a lot faster. Unfortunately, you know, I don't have a soldering tool. I'm working with just the materials in my hand, so I'm going to remove this so it can allow me a way to kind of get in here, you know, without having to use some kind of power tool. Now that the lid is off, this is where the caution really begins, guys. If you are, you know, really undertaking this, you know, by hand, not using any tools, it starts getting jagged, as you can tell with all this right here. All this can easily cut you if you get impatient, if you get careless, especially this part that I'm about to undertake with taking this off with just using pliers, the wire cutters on the pliers. This part can get, you know, just take your time. You don't want to, you know, just get careless and then you cut yourself. Making a stove is going to be the last of your problems. I'm just going to use these pliers. It's some cheapy multi-tool I got for like $2 at a pawn shop. It's no name, some Chinese made. But it has some small wire strippers, and these come in handy. They're really good, at least for the initial cut. There we go. There you go. Okay, so once again, my process, I know it's slow going, but I'm using the Leatherman can opener. Punch this down. And it's been working until I decided to record. Oh well. So, just slowly making my way up. This one's almost all the way up, and this one I'm just kind of trying to get there. Okay, so I came to a restaurant, a little quick fast food restaurant. I'm going to take a good amount of napkins because they're a tinder source, and a spoon for my soup later that I cook. So we're behind a clothes shop, a little small clothing shop, and I'm checking their dumpsters for a wire hanger because I need some support beams so to essentially make my grill. So when I'm placing a can of soup or my cup to warm up water, I need something that's going to withstand heat. Here we go. I have one. So I can break this down with my Leatherman. So I'm just going to break this into strips and then place it on here. And then before I do that, I'm just going to use my can opener and just pop holes. Once again, we're popping holes for the oxygen. And this is also where, you know, the strips are going to go. Not the prettiest, but it'll do. Okay, put away my Swiss Army. Pull out those cheapy multi-tool. Use the wire cutters. One. Two. Okay, so now we're gonna place these. You can tighten these up. If you're going to use this for a good amount of time, you can just, once again, use your pliers and tighten up the cuts. Try to close them. That'll kind of keep them still to a degree. I mean, it's not exact, but it can do it. Trying to even them out. And I think that'll hold us a can of soup. All right, not perfect. It's not perfectly leveled, but it will hold it fine. Now here comes the tricky part. Making a fire, you want to be really discreet when you're in the city. I know preferably if this was a real life situation, I would probably wait until evening, where downtown activity dies out, or maybe go to an empty lot, like an abandoned lot overgrown with weeds and things like that. But for right now, just for this example, we're still gonna just do it here in an alleyway. Let's get that fire started. So I'm just gonna place this down here. Okay. And earlier I went to a fast food joint and I took some napkins. I'm just gonna process down, kind of get them nice and going, because this is going to be essentially my tinder bundle. Once again, we're in a different habitat than my usual tinder bundles in the desert. Your tinder bundle can work. If you have this and you're out in the wilderness, you may proceed as usual with the bird's nest, whatever. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just going about it like this. So here we go. I also gathered a couple chunks of wood that I will be using as my fuel source. This one. Okay, let's get started. Let's get a little fire going. Wrong boot. And the one thing I don't like that I'm still trying to figure out is it makes a lot of smoke. But the Hobo-Stove, at least mine, make a lot of smoke. Something I do not particularly like, because once again, I'm trying to be a little discreet here. And this particular can of soup, you don't need to add water, so one of the fancier ones. So right there, hopefully it starts in about 6 to 7 minutes. Hopefully it'll start seeing a little bit of bubbles at the top. I'm gonna place the top of my tin from my cup over this, because one, so it can kind of heat up faster, and two, there's like pieces of the napkin that's flying up and it's lining on my soup. I don't want that. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes since we're going. Since we're downtown, we're going a little slower than usual, but it's pretty warm. I don't know if you can catch that smoke. You can see some percolation up here. Okay, so I'm gonna just remove it from the fire already.
New ones here.
Gotta be careful there. And I think this little Hobo-Stove worked pretty well. Let's go ahead and, I don't know if you can catch that smoke still rising from here.
Yeah. Bottom.
Yeah. I'd call that a success. And we were joined by a friend we just met, and I'm just gonna give him this stove. So, he can use it. I already have one at home for the first one I ever did, so you can have that. But I mean, look at that. That's burning well.
No dead bodies.
This worked just fine, and with just some pliers, I can just remove this. And just turn this off. Careful there. All it took is just a little bit of elbow grease, a tin, and a wire hanger, and that worked. Okay guys, well that's the conclusion of this video. I thank you for all the views. I really want to give a shout out to Todd Wittenmeyer, who gave me a shout out in his last video, and man, I got like 20 subscribers out of that. I'm really grateful for that. This one's for you, Todd. Thanks buddy. Okay, so if you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. Go ahead and feel free to click that subscription button if you want to see some more of my adventures. Now I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my soup. and head on home. So you guys have a good night, and go outside and get your boots dirty.